I know it's overused, but it's true. Winter is coming. So you may be considering some winter protection for your car. However, you may not have considered that you need to make sure your car is absolutely as perfectly clean as it can possibly be before you apply any protection, because the cleaner it is, the easier it will be and the better the adherence will be of your protection product to your car's paint. I know it sounds like I may be teaching my granny to suck eggs here, but it's true. Some people just may not consider that. The cleaner your car is, the better the protection will stick. So I'm going to be showing you over a few videos my routine for cleaning a car, but also doing it safely. So the first thing we're going to do is pre-wash the car. But what is a pre-wash? Cue the chin stroke. So a pre-wash is actually two different things. It's an activity and it's also a thing, it's a product. We're going to talk about the product afterwards, but first we're going to talk about the doing thing. We're just going to go jump straight into it. You can start off with something as simple as a hose pipe and a nozzle. And all I'm going to be doing here is rinsing the car off. This is a pre-rinse, if you will. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using the water to rinse off any loose dirt that's sitting on the car, any dust, any grit, any debris from the air, anything like that at all. What I'm also doing is I'm soaking the car. So that does a couple of different things. Like I say, the water's carrying away any loose dirt. But if there's any dried on dirt on your car, anything that's perhaps mud or bug guts, things like that, which are going to be sticking to the car. Well, think about it like this. If you've ever cooked a casserole, then you've seen your casserole dish at the end of it. It's got all that baked on, dried on food. And what your mother probably did was to take that casserole dish, put it in a basin of hot soapy water. And that was to soak the food, to soak the dirt in this situation. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm knocking off any loose dirt before washing the car, and I'm also soaking and softening any of the dried on dirt, which is going to make it easier to remove later. Now we're doing this in as much of a touchless fashion as possible, simply because we don't want to add any damage to the car. We don't want to incur any scratches, any swirls, spider webbing, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has their own names for it. But it's any of those really fine marks on your car which would rob your paint's reflection. All of these little scratches and swirls that appear on your car, they generally come from improper washing, or if you've ever taken it to an automatic car wash with those spinning brushes of death. So we're going to try and do this as safely as possible and try and inflict as little damage as we can. So I'm going to carry on and do the rest of the car here. Now the pre-soak, the pre-rinse is done. Now we're going to move on to a pressure rinse. I've grabbed my pressure washer. Keep in mind, this is not an absolute 100% how-to video. I mean, you can chop and change things to however things suit you. If you want to go over the pre-rinse with your pressure washer, by all means, go ahead. Just use this as some tips and tricks if you want. But like I say, the car has now been completely soaked and pre-rinsed, so now I'm going to be using the pressure from the nozzle here to blast off any dirt which is hopefully sticking, has now become softened because of that soak. Again, we're trying to remove as much dirt as possible without actually making physical contact with it. We don't want to rub that dirt around on the paint. So the pressure from the pressure washer will hopefully push that dirt off the car as much as possible. Should point out, you might want to work methodically in this fashion. You can do it however you want to do it. Personally, I have my own mental picture about the areas that I've covered. You could work it in long straight lines, you could do a panel at a time, whatever suits you. Just think of an issue, think of a way that you can remember where you've done, because you want to make sure that you get every panel blasted with this. Okay, so now we've gone through the pre-rinse and the pressure rinse. Now it's time to actually go ahead and use a chemical product. There are many different kinds out there. You will find dedicated pre-wash products, you will find traffic film removers, and you will find snow foams. And they're all much of a muchness. They all do roughly the same thing. They are a chemical component. They contain a detergent of some sort, and they are designed to work their magic on the dirt, just like the washing up liquid in the hot soapy bowl when you were soaking the casserole dish. You can get all sorts of different types. They come the kind where you can spray on a bottle like this. You can get them with a pressure sprayer like this. And when it comes to snow foams as well, you can use the snow foam lance. That's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm just going to throw these out of the way for a moment. Why snow foams? Well, I prefer snow foam. I mean, I guess much of it is a personal preference situation, but I mean, what's not entertaining about spraying loads of foam all over your car? This particular snow foam is Auto Glym Polar Blast. Thank you very much to Auto Glym for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I'm going to be using it as well, so we're going to see how it gets on. Generally, the idea with these products is that you spray them on and allow them to dwell. And the difference between something like a traffic film remover or a pre-wash product and a snow foam is a snow foam, because of its foaminess, it sticks to the car a bit more, and it also happens to draw down and hopefully bring some dirt with it. If you don't really know much about snow foams, you want to learn more about them, there's going to be a link somewhere here, hopefully, which is to my video called What is Snow Foam, very usefully. So we're going to go ahead and hook this up now to the pressure washer, and we're going to spray the car, see how this goes. I mean, what's not entertaining about that, covering your car with a foam? It's actually quite a nice thick foam, this as well. So I'm going to go around, make sure the whole car's got a covering. Now, there is no real 100% strict rule about how you should apply it. Generally speaking, the best bet is to start at the bottom and work your way up. Reason for that is that as you continue to apply foam, the last bit that you're going to cover is the top of the car, and that's going to continue to fall down. So you're going to have more and more foam, hopefully maybe grabbing some dirt, but making sure that all of the car is covered, especially since the bottom half of the car is usually the dirtiest half of the car, what we call the most trafficked area. Because it's closer to the ground, it's going to pick up more dirt. So we want as much foam to get down onto that. So I'm going to go and carry on, do the rest of the car. So now it's absolutely covered in foam. It's a nice thick foam actually, I quite like this one. So now we're going to let that dwell. Now thankfully today it's an overcast day, it's relatively cool. This is actually the kind of best weather for a snow foam because you don't want it to dry on your car. Now if you don't have a choice, if you're going to be doing it in the sunshine on a warm day, try not to let your snow foam or any of your pre-washed products dry on your paint because you could either stain your paint or the suds could dry on there, making them more difficult to remove later. You're just going to add to your problems. So if it does look like it's going to dry on there, either rinse it off early or give it a spray down with water, maybe go over it a couple of times, try and make sure that it's wet. And like I say, we've got the right weather for it right now. I'm going to let this dwell for about 5 minutes, and this is going to slowly draw down, and hopefully the detergents in there are going to attack any other stubborn dirt or marks on the car, anything that can be removed in this stage with just the detergents in the foam. However, there are going to be some places that perhaps need a little bit of agitation. Now I know we said we're going to try and do this as touchless as possible, but there are going to be some areas where you might want to give a little bit of attention, and that's where we need a detailing brush. Now when you've got areas like badges, you've got narrow panel gaps, these could be areas which harbour some of the dirt, especially on something like a hatchback like this car. There's a vortex of air comes around here, grabs some of the dirt. So I've just got a detailing brush here. It's a soft bristle detailing brush. I've added some of the snow foam to it and gently agitate around this area just to try and shift any of that dirt that might be sticking in the areas. And you can do this for lots of different bits. If you've got wing mounted mirror indicators, anything with gaps in it, your door handles even, anything like that, badges, all these kind of things could be areas of potential dirt traps. So something like this, it's not going to do any real damage to it, but it's going to help to move some of that dirt.
Now here we have a soapy car.
Thank God I'm not going to be using the audio for this.
As you can see folks, the car is very soapy.
Actually, I might just keep that in.
Yeah, please do.
Very, very, very soapy car. Once you've got your soapy car, hose it off well.
So now the car has been snow foamed, it's been dwelling for a while. I've used the detail brush to go around and catch any of the dirt traps in the car. It's simply time to rinse the car off. Again, there is no particular special way you're supposed to do this. There's no wrong way to do it either, but I start at the bottom and work along the car in lengths, because that way you can see which bits of the car have been rinsed and you're also leaving any foam behind. We're not just rinsing the car, we're still using the pressure of the pressure washer to blast off anything that's been sticking that the snow foam has helped to soften or remove. So it's not just a rinse. I mean, you could rinse it if you want, but it's not going to do a huge amount. We're still going to take advantage of the pressure of the water from the pressure washer to knock off that dirt. So I'm going to start that now. So there you have it. That's the pre-wash finished. All I've used is water, a pressure washer, and a snow foam, which is essentially a pre-wash product. The car is looking a lot nicer than it did, but it's by no means clean. This has only removed the surface dirt, which can come off with some detergents and some high pressure water. The next video will cover the contact wash, and I'm going to be doing a safe wash version of that. I'm going to be showing you how to safely wash your car whilst making physical contact with it. That's where most of the damage would come from when you wash your car. And I'll explain that in the next video, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Also, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell so you're notified when the next video goes up. I would love to hear any comments, questions, suggestions in the box below, or you could reach me on Instagram, somewhere down here. It's my new favorite thing. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare for the next video. Thank you also to Auto Glym for sending me the Polar Blast snow foam. I really liked it. Smells nice, works nice, it's nice and thick. So I'm definitely going to keep that in my arsenal. God, yeah, you could take that the wrong way. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Specky. I'll see you in the next video.